Our target date for on-campus worship, as Mike has already mentioned, is June the 7th. And he's going to give us more details in the next week about what exactly that involves. I hope you'll be looking for that email and any other messages that will get you ready for this on-campus worship experience. What I want to do, though, is share with you some principles, just a few minutes, sharing with you some principles that all of us need to follow as we consider getting back to campus on June the 7th. So first of all, I want to issue this assurance to you. You can still worship from home. In fact, for some of us, we need to continue to worship from home. If you're in a risk group, you need to worship from home. If you're concerned about being around people who are singing, you need to worship from home for a little while longer. If you hear the requirements that are needed to be part of on-campus worship and you just don't want to be a part of those, they're just too inconvenient, that's okay. Understand that you can still worship from home. You aren't just watching us worship when you are in the online experience. We like to think about it like this, that we still have a seat for you. It's on your couch, and we hope that you will worship with us and participate with your church family from home. Here's a second principle that we need to follow. Adjust your expectations. Our first Sunday back, it's clear now, is not going to be the big reunion Sunday that all of us thought it was going to be when we left the building back in March. It's going to be a slow crawl back to normalcy for all of our churches. The crowd, if you come on June 7th, is going to be small. It's only going to be about 20% of the attendance you were accustomed to seeing back when we left the building in March. All the rest of the 80% of our people will be worshiping with us, but they'll be doing so online. On at least the first Sunday back, it'll be a worship service only. We won't have our life group hour. We won't have our coffee fellowship. We won't have our children's church. We won't have our preschool or nursery ministry. We're working on setting target dates for the start of all those things, and they'll eventually be back in our program, but not yet, not yet. And so pay attention to that. Adjust your expectations. Here's a third thing. Be flexible. Be flexible. I think it was Eisenhower who said that in war planning, planning is everything, but the plan is nothing. We're all about planning in this church. We plan well, but we also need to be flexible and adjust ourselves as things come up. So we're targeting June 7th as our date to be back on campus. If we have to change that date, we will. Once we get back on campus, if we see some health metrics that concern us and we feel that we need to, we'll go back to online only worship again, all of us at our homes. Just be ready to be flexible. And then here's the fourth one and the last principle. Be mindful of others. You know, if you come in to worship God, but you pay no mind to the concerns or the needs of the people around you, you're doing it wrong. I'm sure even if you didn't read Rick Warren's most famous book, The Purpose-Driven Life, you at least know the opening line of the book. It's not about you. We need to remember that as we get ready to come in for on-campus worship. You're going to hear from Mike some expectations that we'll ask you to follow, and some of those expectations are going to be inconvenient for some of us. Some of the expectations will be inconvenient for all of us. We'll ask you to stay separated from other households by a minimum of 6 feet. We want to practice good social distancing. We're going to ask you to wear a face covering, a face mask as you're part of the worship service. All of these things are guidelines that our own state governor and the CDC are encouraging churches to practice, and we want to be good citizens and practice those very things. Now, some of us might want to say, but I'm not in a risk group, or I don't want to put up with that inconvenience. I'm willing to take the risk. But understand, it's not about you. It's about those who are with you in the on-campus worship experience. So let's keep these principles in mind as we get ready to come back on campus in a couple of weeks. I am so grateful for the encouragement and the support that you have provided us as we've gone through these past weird days. And count on it. We're going to need your encouragement, and we're going to need your support as we go through these weird future days as well. God bless you.